This is former TNA World Champion Raven, and you're listening to TNA Cross the Line podcast. Quote the Raven, nevermore. And don't cross the line. Or do cross the line. I'm not really sure if you're supposed to, you're not supposed to. I don't know. Whatever. You get it.
TNA Wrestling. Cross the line.
And we're back with bonus episode number 11 of the TNA Cross the Line podcast. I am Bob Colling Jr. With me, as always, is Dallas Gridley. In Dallas, on this lovely bonus episode, we are heading north of the border for a Border City Wrestling International Incident, where we are watching one match from the show, and it's the main event, where the NWA World Champion Raven, who successfully defended against Rhino at our previous show, Unbreakable, is defending against Jeff Jarrett. We don't know how Jeff Jarrett has gotten a title shot. We don't know why. But by God, he got one.
He sure did. Yeah, and if everyone tuning in is like, why the heck are you guys doing a bonus episode? Well, first off, you got to listen to the past episodes, but there's no impacts for a couple weeks until October 1st when we make our debut on Spike TV. And don't you guys worry, that is coming up here in just a few weeks. But yeah, dude, I'm actually pretty excited about this. I have definitely seen this at some point, but it's certainly been a long time since I've seen this. And I have never seen the whole show, but guys, if you're wondering why we aren't doing this whole show, Bob told me no. I'm just going to throw the blame on Bob right now.
I really didn't want to do the whole show.
I mean, I don't completely blame you. And actually, it's funny because I'm looking at the total card, and we can talk about the card, while we watch or whatever too. And I actually have a note about the show in general, but it's actually like they're doing like a U.S. versus Canada feud during the entire show, basically. Mm-hmm. Out of like a best of 5 series, except that it's like all different matches. So it's kind of interesting. There's a ton of TNA talent on this card. I mean, it's nearly entirely TNA talent. And there's a really good reason for that. And actually, in the notes that we're going to go through here momentarily, you'll hear why. It's actually kind of cool. So we're going to do things a little bit differently. Actually, it's more of a throwback because when we first started doing these episodes way back, Bob, I'm pretty sure we read all the notes and then we watched the show and then we realized maybe we should start sprinkling some of those into the show instead of doing over 3 hours half the time when we could condense it to about 2.5 during the weekly pay-per-views. So we're going to do all the notes, then we're going to watch the match. And I mean, I don't know how long exactly the match is, but it's probably going to be roughly 30 minutes worth of watch along video. And we're going to have a grand old time. And then we're going to tell you guys what we're doing next week.
That's right.
So we got a bunch of stuff lined up. Let's get right into this. We are going to completely break down Unbreakable as we always do. But first, we have some other notes to talk about. And then we'll break down Unbreakable, and then we'll go into the show. So kind of a random one to kick us off here. Brian Kendrick recently returned on Velocity earlier than expected. And you're probably wondering, well, why the frick are we talking about this? Well, it's because he made a late call to TNA last week to see if they were interested. And essentially, they didn't give him a direct answer, so he ended up going to Velocity. So he did try to come back to TNA.
2005. He went back. What? I know he was doing Ring of Honor stuff. Was he released by WWE or something? And then
he must have been because I can't remember. We saw him do one quick appearance, didn't we? And then
I believe we saw him at least at Victory Road.
Okay.
And then I think he did a couple of Impact shots.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so, I mean, at this point, he has not re-signed, at least according to this note, but he had verbally committed to working there.
So, yeah, he had left WWE the first time, I guess, in January of 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're saying that he reached out to them, TNA, before?
Yeah.
Right? So it says, at least according to Wikipedia, I don't know how accurate this is. In July 2005, Kendrick announced that after he had fulfilled his obligations on the independent circuit, he would return to WWE. He made his return during a live event August 22nd, losing a fatal 4-way
Interesting.
for the cruiserweight title. That was at a house show.
Oh, so let me put this also into a little bit of perspective. So this Observer that this is in is from September 19th, which is around the date of what we're watching. But you know how these go. Sometimes they're a little bit later. So it probably lines up like early September-ish when they got the news kind of thing, I'd have to assume. But I thought it was kind of interesting that he tried to call TNA, and they just couldn't give him a good answer.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I mean, I like Brian Kendrick Spanky, but like, I don't know if I would.
I don't know if we needed him right now.
I don't think.
I think we're doing fine. I'd rather bring back some other people, like, I don't know, Amazing Red. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, Amazing Red would be good. And I mean, he did what, at least one show during the internet.
Yeah, we were like, oh shit, Red's on here, and then he's like gone again. And it seems like he doesn't. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. He doesn't really do a whole lot again for like a long time here, and I never realized how short his TNA run is.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm telling you, he is a guy that if he doesn't get hurt a whole lot of times, is probably doing a lot more in wrestling. And even now, and I think he's involved with House of Glory.
Yes, he is.
I don't know if he runs it, but I know that he's
he might
part of it.
He might.
But I noticed like he does like it seems like 2 matches a year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, this is an example, like a guy that just got bad knees.
Right.
And couldn't keep up with the style that he was doing every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunate, but here we are. So moving on here, Dave notes that it's clear that Spike is really behind TNA now. Now, on October 1st, prior to TNA's debut, they will be doing an Ultimate Fighter marathon from 5 to 11 p.m., with the first 6 episodes from the season replayed. However, the first TNA Monday night episode, due to replaying the Las Vegas UFC show, won't air until 2:10 a.m., as opposed to its usual midnight planned start time. So the midnight Monday slot starts on 10:10. So it's pretty interesting. Now, we are going to be talking a lot about this Monday night thing coming up. Like there might even be more on today's. There's definitely going to be more next week. And when we get to the Spike debut, I'll tell you right now, there's even more stuff. And it's, I don't know. People, I just saw someone recently, this is a quick side note here, but someone compared the signing of someone we have yet to see. So I'll just leave that ambiguous as like, oh, there's a war going on. And someone like commented, it was on Twitter, it was like, I wouldn't really call it a war. I mean, things are already starting to pick up here where WWE is going to try to up their Monday show because they're switching networks and Spike has a different wrestling on. And it's very clear that they're like trying to like butt heads with them.
Yeah, I don't think it's a war.
Well, right. It's not like a true thing, but I mean, you can tell like they're trying to prove to Spike or whatever, you know what I mean? I mean, they're not just doing it quietly.
No, but I mean, like when in the grand scheme of things, I would say arguably the entire time that TNA's on Spike, it's never really any kind of like true war
until January 4th, 2010, when they get rid of that playpen ring.
Yeah, but but that even like
I know.
confirms that it's not a war.
I know,
When
I
you
know.
see the rating the next day of what they got, it's like,
I know.
yeah, it's not even fucking close.
Well, I think war is like a bad word to be using anyways. Like, it's not that, but there are definitely some competition.
They're just trying to be like that pesty sibling. You know, like they're eating,
Okay,
WWE's
yeah.
eating a really nice meal, and you got your little brother. It's like, come on, I want to, come give me a piece. Come on, mom.
That sounds like it's insulting, but you are kind of true there. I mean, you're not wrong.
It's just like, okay, this kid's annoying me, but I'm still gonna eat my meal.
And his meal might be good too, but
Yeah.
you don't really want to try it out. Anyway, in some other good news, TNA signed a 1-year contract with Eurosports, which is basically Europe's version of ESPN. So that's pretty freaking big. The station reaches 54 countries in Europe and the Middle East, but is strongest in the UK, Scandinavia, France, Spain, Italy, Poland, Portugal, and Greece. And I think stuff like this is why they start to kind of blow up in the UK. I mean,
I was just gonna say,
there's no denying that. This is a fun note, and it's relating to the show we are watching today, or the match that we're watching today. So I don't know if you knew this, Bob, but I never knew this. So there are test marketing the idea of doing house shows, as well as the idea of doing a Canadian house show tour, starting with September 15th, Windsor, Ontario, the show promoted by Scott D'Amore in Border City Wrestling. So this essentially is a test show to do house shows.
What? It's under Border City Wrestling's banner.
Right. But it's mostly TNA guys. So that's the interesting part.
Yeah, but I think it's very important that we think this through here because
it's not and there's a reason for this.
Okay, but here's my point. I'll use a very simplistic example that's probably not even the greatest idea here, but you got Northeast Wrestling, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's based out of like Connecticut, does Poughkeepsie sometimes, whatever. They draw anywhere between 400 to like 2,500 when they sell out the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. And they've used TNA guys before. And I'm going to say, I'm probably referencing like 2008, 2009, 2007, whatever. And they're doing these things. Now, TNA could then go to that same market that Northeast Wrestling, let's say, did 1,200 with 2 guys that are not yet in the company in the main event. Do 1,200. TNA comes in with those same 2 guys and their TNA roster, and they do 650. So the issue with TNA never was the guys. It was the brand. People didn't want to go see TNA. They would want to go see your Samoa Joes or whatever.
To see TNA.
But not TNA. And the same thing with like in probably 2005, a better example is like Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor could do 800 in Chicago with their Ring of Honor guys, but then also various TNA guys. And then TNA go there with those same TNA guys, and then like their undercard that are not in Ring of Honor, and they're not going to do 850. They're going to do like 420.
Makes me sad.
I think it's mostly a brand thing.
Well, I for one wanted to see TNA wrestling. So anyway,
see, I don't know, man. Like when they came to Syracuse in 2007.
Oh, I couldn't fucking wait.
At the fairgrounds.
Yeah, the fairgrounds.
Like I wanted to. It was the same weekend I went to Chicago to go to Wrigley Field, so I couldn't end up going. But for me, it wasn't like, oh, I want to go see TNA.
Oh,
it
no,
was like, oh, I want to see like this guy.
I'll tell you what, that show was awesome.
I bet it was, but like I didn't want to go like see actual TNA.
I can't wait till we get to that, and then it's like in our notes, and I can be like, okay, guys, I was there. I was at the show. I can tell you stories. I got stories about that show. I will never forget.
Yeah.
Anyways, so kind of going on Bob's point here, though. D'Amore's last show, believe it or not, drew a sellout of 1,900 fans. Now, that is largely due to Bret Hart doing a Hart Foundation reunion with Jim Neidhart and Jimmy Hart. But regardless.
Well, still.
And we should try when we watch this, when we start this, let's try. I don't have a crowd number, but I'm curious what this actually drew. If we can try to find it, but now the main matches on the show, obviously Raven versus Jarrett for the title. We're going to watch that. Now, other ones we are not going to watch, but if you're interested in this show, you could go and check out Christopher Daniels versus Chris Sabin for the X Division title, and then of course the best of 5 U.S. versus Canadian series with 4 matches being Bobby Roode versus Abyss, Petey Williams versus Jerry Lynn, A1 versus Rhino, and Johnny Devine and Eric Young versus America's Most Wanted. There's some pretty good matches on the show. I am definitely going to try to watch this entire show at some point. Because it sounds pretty good.
I should probably do a written review of it, but I have not.
Oh, I thought you definitely have.
No, I've wanted to, and I never have.
That's why, guys, I found the real reason why we're not watching the whole show, because Bob doesn't want to do it twice. He'll do the main event twice, but he won't do the whole show twice.
Yeah.
I found the real reason.
That probably definitely plays a part in it.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple more things about Spike in that whole deal, and then I'm scrolling just to confirm. Then we got, we're going to start dipping into a little bit of the taping that is coming up for Spike. Some rumors, some stuff that's happening, and then we will get into Unbreakable. So we got a little bit left here, but so the battle of October 3rd between Spike TV and USA Network has heated up even more. I told you this is going to happen. I'm not going to read every single bit of this because there's quite a bit that's strictly Raw and UFC related, because really that's kind of the competition. TNA just happens to be after the UFC thing. But there's a pretty interesting note here that Dave kind of breaks down what's been happening. So he says it wouldn't be shocking to see one side or the other take more steps, but this is the basic scorecard of what has happened so far in such a short time in what would be the most important night for the business in many years. So he breaks this down. August 29th, the first shot here. Just 2 hours before the live Raw is set to begin, Spike TV decides there are 2 commercials for the debut of TNA on its network. Then, on September 1st, after getting the demographic breakdown 2 days earlier, showing The Ultimate Fighter at 11:05 p.m. to midnight, drawing a 3.71 rating among males 25 to 34, Spike's target age group, a number slightly higher than Raw, the network decides to fight to retain its status as the number 1 cable network on Monday nights that it basically conceded to USA when it picked up Raw. Spike TV asks UFC to add 2-hour live special to go head-to-head with Raw's debut on the USA Network. So that's a shot that Spike is like, we want to go live with UFC during Raw. On September 4th, Spike TV makes the decision to add second TNA airing at midnight on Monday nights after the conclusion of The Ultimate Fighter. On September 6th, in response, WWE announces the return of Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, Triple H, Mick Foley, and Vince McMahon to Raw on October 3rd. This type of star power is something that UFC simply can't compete with when it comes to marginal viewers, who are the key viewers in a rating war. Then we have, then I think this is all still kind of around September 6th because he stops writing dates. To get a jump on Raw and to build for Ultimate Fighter Night, Spike decides to preempt its 8 p.m. episode of CSI, which is its highest rated show on the network except Raw, in order to air a 1-hour episode of UFC Unleashed. WWE then adds a 3rd hour of Raw starting at 8 p.m. Then USA Network moves Raw start time to 7:55 p.m. to get a jump start on Unleashed, and adds a 4th hour with a taped Raw Exposed after the live Raw from Dallas ends. Now, he says that the Raw Exposed special will also air on October 2nd at 10 p.m. on USA the night before. So it's a second airing of it. Now, Spike has a 6-hour Ultimate Fighter marathon to lead into the debut of Impact. So it's pretty, I told you, this is pretty wild stuff, I feel like, when you break it down.
I am absolutely shocked at the lengths that WWE went to counter program UFC.
I know. It's wild.
I don't know
like I said,
if it
it's
was
more
that necessary to do that.
Like I said, it's more of shots at, like, I think Spike rather than anything. But once again,
yeah.
TNA is included in this, so it counts.
Yeah, but it's definitely a Spike thing because I don't even.
Yes.
I believe when you were talking about, when the programming with Spike came up, like Spike didn't even offer them a deal.
No.
Because I think USA offered so much money to get it back.
Right.
That they were just like, let's go, and then I'm sure WWE was like, fuck you, Spike, we're gonna destroy you and with their program or whatever.
Yeah. Now, all in all here, everything we just said, between Spike and USA, there is going to be a total of 11 hours of either pro wrestling or UFC programming on one night, including the UFC Fight Night replay from 1 to 3 a.m. So really 7 hours of first run content. That's a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So pretty crazy. And he kind of dives into this, quite a bit more, but for the sake of our sanity, that's the breakdown.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about some stuff that's into our taping. And I mean, there is some we'll say minor spoilers, but it's stuff we've been talking about. So it's not really, I mean, this is all before it happens. So we don't really have confirmation, right? With just a few weeks to go before its Spike TV debut, TNA put on one of the best matches of the last decade in North America. So this talks about Unbreakable a little bit too, but we'll get there. An Unbreakable pay-per-view on September 11th in Orlando before the usual turn-away crowd of 800 fans at Universal. The interesting note is that the match that wasn't decided on being the main event until 2 a.m. the night before the show. So it was not even going to be the main event. Of course, if you guys listen to our Unbreakable show, which if you haven't, you should definitely check it out. AJ Styles won the X Division Championship in a three-way over Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe, in a match that was flip-flopped at the last minute by Jeff Jarrett to go above the Raven vs. Rhino NWA title match. Now, there had been a long-standing feeling that the NWA title had to go on last. In hindsight, it was the right move, as it would have been difficult for Raven vs. Rhino, which was not that hot of a match to the live crowd to begin with, to have follow an incredible match. Now, Daniels in particular was holding back tears after the show went off the air. While storyline that could have, because he lost the title after the 6-month reign, it was really because of the emotion. Now, when the show cut off without getting the full impact of the live crowd chanting match of the year. So they shut it off before that. Now, largely due to the match, the show got an overwhelmingly positive response, even though it was not as good as the undercard of many of the recent shows, nor was the crowd as hot as it usually is. The second best match on the show was not even booked until 2 days ahead of time, with ROH tag partners Roderick Strong and Austin Aries, neither of whom have TNA contracts, tearing down the house and impressing everyone. So that was a standout. And we will, of course, once we actually get to the full breakdown here, we will do our, I do have the Observer thumbs up, thumbs down thing. So
here's my question. If Jeff Jarrett is the world champion, is he main eventing?
Oh yeah, he was easily going to main event. Yeah.
That's
not even a question there.
Yeah.
So no TV tapings were held on September 13th. So the next 2 weeks of television in a few markets they air, like Sun Sports in Florida, will be best of shows. Now listen, guys, I was going to try to trick Bob into this. I have one of them. He told me no, but it's literally just Don West and Mike Tenay talking, and they just say, "We did it again." At Unbreakable, and then they show old matches, so I get it. But
yeah, I'm not doing that.
I tried. Actually, the joke was we talked about doing a different idea, and I was gonna have that playing in the background, but anyway. So listen to this. Kevin Nash, the Dudleys under a new game and gimmick, and Gail Kim are all expected to debut on September 27th tapings for the 2 weeks of Spike TV. That's what we're planning here. Now, at this point...
Kevin Nash wouldn't be a debut. He would be a return.
Correct.
Okay.
But, well, we'll just hold that thought, and we're going to...
Why? What are we doing?
I'm just going to say, let's talk... We'll have more conversation about that as we talk more about Kevin Nash.
I swear to God, dude, if TNA tries to play it off like he has not been there before...
I think they're going to, and we're going to talk about it when it
happens. I'm going to fucking freak out. Because he was in the main event of Against All Odds of this year.
He sure was.
I swear to God, dude.
He sure was.
FS1 never happened. Fox Sports Net. Never happened.
Yeah. Now, at this point, there is no superstar guest that they had hoped for to debut because their attempts to get Bret Hart, Mick Foley, and Sting have all fallen through. So none of that's happening.
I don't know how you don't get at least Sting. I mean, he was at the asylum, for Christ's sake.
He doesn't want to do it.
But you're on Spike TV. You're on fucking national television.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised too, to be honest. But
I'm really surprised. I'm shocked.
now, Mick Foley, actually, remember, we did talk about that a few weeks back. He talked about and like basically said yes to doing it, and now he's going to Raw.
Right.
Vince gave him the deal he actually wanted, so. But he was going to come in 2005. I mean, it literally was going to happen.
To like wrestle though, or like be just a figurehead.
Both, I think.
Wow.
Now the tapings that they're going to be doing is, of course, building up Bound for Glory, a nearly 3-hour and 30-minute pay-per-view scheduled for October 23rd, which they're trying to build into their version of WrestleMania. Several angles will be taking place over the next few weeks that will shape the final show. Now, the only official match, which we are aware of, and I think they did it at Unbreakable, didn't they? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. We heard about this at some point here. Is Ultimate X is coming back, and that is going to be Chris Sabin, Petey Williams, and Matt Bentley. And
I don't think we knew the people involved, but Matt Bentley was like, well, I'm bringing Ultimate X back.
Okay, well, we know now because they must have announced it, and they announced this next thing too on their website, which I'm about to say. I think they're announcing stuff online to kind of get closer. Now, word in Japan is that Jushin Thunder Liger's opponent, yes, you heard that right. They're bringing in Jushin Thunder Liger. Is going to be Samoa Joe, but that is not official. It's also noted that the Dudleys will not be on the show because they are booked for that date in All Japan, and they have not signed with TNA. But they were talking among the wrestlers that are being excited to come in. So, dude, still nothing is official about that. Yeah. Saying that the atmosphere and work ethic reminded them of ECW, blah blah blah. Yeah, and they wanted to prove Vince McMahon that he made a big mistake in letting them go. So TNA hoped to announce Jushin Liger on the Unbreakable pay-per-view, but were frantically calling Simon Inoki to get the final signing off of the show, and he didn't get back to them until after, so they announced it on their website the next day. So, there you go. So we know Jushin Thunder Liger's coming in, and we know we got Ultimate X.
Okay. I think it's hilarious that the Dudley Boys are like, we're going to prove that Vince made a mistake. They were so fucking stale in WWE.
It's so stale that I don't even remember really what they were doing around this time, except weren't they involved in the concrete crypt match with Undertaker?
So that was in like June, I think July of 2004.
Oh, that's the last thing I don't remember them doing shit.
So I was the same way. I was like, I don't know, like what the fuck were they even doing? The only thing they did in 2005 for WWE was One Night Stand.
That's it.
The last thing they did in 2004, they were like being Spike Dudley's fucking henchman guy.
Oh my god! Wow, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how wrong they prove them.
And then they were also like with Dawn Marie doing some like.
I don't remember none of that.
Yeah, no, it was so bad. They were so fucking stale. So fucking stale. There was nothing for them to do. So I would have got rid of them.
Yeah. Well, we got some fresh matchups if they're for sure.
I feel like I'm really not looking forward to this.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt to start, and if they disappoint me, then I will certainly tell you. Because like I'm not the biggest Dudley fan, and I'll tell you right now, they're assholes. So there's also that.
I'm not really a fan of Bubba. I'll tell you that.
Bubba was the biggest asshole.
Yeah.
Because I met him at the 2CW show because I wanted the cool picture with them and Spike, and he was a fucking asshole. Anyways,
that's the gimmick.
Although I did meet them at a TNA house show, and they're actually really nice. But I was younger then, so they probably thought I was like a small child. Anyway.
Yeah, but you were really like 22.
No, I was probably like 15, 16.
Oh, okay. So you looked like you were 12.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So they were like super nice to me then.
Right.
But
as a grown adult, and you're like, hey, can I take pictures with my fancy camera? They're probably like, oh, great douchebag.
Can you sign my ECW poster? Yeah, he signed it as Bully Ray, I think, which sucks, but whatever.
Ah, dude, that's.
Yeah. What can you do? He was an asshole. Anyways, So another thing that kind of happened, as Dave says, the scariest news regarded Sean Waltman. Oh. Remember, Sean Waltman was not at Unbreakable.
Of course not.
So listen to this. Just as you think things can't get fucking crazy. Well, he was still missing at press time. Okay. Missing.
Yeah.
Now, all week, there was the fear of Waltman, who the company had believed was going to sign a contract after the September 6th discussion with Terry Taylor. However, as the week went on, Waltman was at first having problems with some of the contract wording, and then his phone was disconnected, and his cell phone had piled up so many messages, you couldn't even leave a new message, and they couldn't get a hold of him. The day of the show, at about 4 p.m., Waltman called and said he was leaving and that he would be there. Apparently, he didn't leave Tampa until 6 p.m., several hours after he should have arrived, and left alone. Friends of his say that he still got his mentality from Bret Hart in WWE regarding stars having the status to arrive late, although it's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He never arrived at the show, leaving everyone in the company furious. Now, Mike Tenay, Don West, and Alex Shelley all buried him to a degree on air, and the company was seemingly going with a he'll never work here again mindset. However, madness turned into major concern when nobody had heard from him or seen him the next day, and his family was getting very concerned. As of 2 days later, nobody had still heard from him. So as of this week of notes, no one's heard of him still.
That's like terrifying.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty crazy.
Now, spoiler alert, he's not dead.
He's not dead. Which is good.
He's still alive today.
Correct.
By the sounds of it, I'm totally speculating. It sounds like he went on a bender.
I mean, it kind of fits the time frame, does it not? I don't know.
Yeah, pretty sure.
So yeah, that happened. Now, this is also pretty interesting. We're kind of continuing. We're all in like one flow. This is not about Waltman anymore, but it's about backstage at Unbreakable. Now, however, with people like, listen to this list: Test, Maven, Kevin. I don't know how to say his last name right. It's Kevin Thorne. Fatigue. Is that how you say it? Fatigue.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash, Kenzo Suzuki, and Hiroku Suzuki, as well as the Dudleys and Gail Kim, all backstage at Unbreakable. Tempers among several of the younger wrestlers were flaring. Now, Dave says it's funny because it's the same storyline that they're playing on television, with Jarrett of the role of the younger wrestler who felt they spent 3 years building the company, are now fearing that they fear being fired for WWE cast-offs.
Right.
And they literally have them back. It's not a joke. They're there. So both Kenzo and Hiroku, am I saying that? Hiroko, not Hiroku. Hiroko, who arrived before 10 a.m. the day of the show, were told that the company had nothing for them. Test was also turned down when he was asking for work. Fatigue is believed to be under consideration because Paul Heyman spoke so highly of him, but I'm not sure where he'd fit. About 8 executives from Spike TV were also there, and even AJ Styles threw a fit about so many WWE wrestlers being there, and unlike undercard guys who are worried about their jobs, he's untouchable, but Styles was mad, apparently speaking out against the idea of hiring guys just because they are big. Some of the veterans were calmed him down and noted, when the Spike show starts, most fans watching will need some familiar faces on the show or they won't give it a chance.
Okay, there's enough guys on this roster that they're familiar faces to me.
I know.
They don't need more. Out of that group, though, obviously the Dudley Boys are, coming in or whatever. Fatigue, Kevin Thorne, I could see him fitting with Abyss if they were to do like a stable or tag team type of thing.
Yep.
Just because of like Mordecai and like
you could get it to work, yeah.
Like a darker character. Test, I don't really think I'd care about.
No.
But there's still like potential there if you really found
Test
it.
could be the new Triton, but he's Test.
Test is far better than Triton.
I know that. Come on.
That's not true.
I like Test.
I would be interested in Maven.
Well, that's been a name thrown around for a while, I feel like, and I'm just kind of surprised he didn't get a shot.
Here's the thing with Maven, and this is literally just popping into my head now. So I believe that this is before he did the Surreal Life.
Okay.
A reality show. But I would like have him be so self-absorbed, like have him have his own like reality show within the show.
Oh, that's
Like
good,
have a
yeah.
guy like a camera just following him around and like he treats it like it's his like real world.
That's a good idea.
I think that for a guy like me, I mean, he did Tough Enough, so that's a reality show. He won it, and he could be like, "Listen, I'm a star," and it seems like easy heel heat to me.
I think so too. I like that idea.
So,
And we know that Kenzo Suzuki has been here before and did very poorly, so I can understand why there was no interest in having him or his friend here.
and Maven has a good look. I mean, the guy is shredded.
Yes, yeah. And of course, we already know the rumors about Dudley's and Galkin, so I mean, some of these make sense. Yeah. And actually, there's, I don't know. It might be on our next show. I'm doing a quick triple check. There is a note about. Oh no, I think it's is it this one? I'm sorry. Oh no, it's not that one. Actually, I'm going to tell you this note too before we get into Unbreakable, I think. But anyways, there's a note about Kevin Nash that I might be on our next episode. That's pretty interesting about this. The whole backstage thing. I really, if Kevin Nash, let's say on the first episode of Spike, Kevin Nash comes out, if fucking Mike Tenay goes, I haven't seen Kevin Nash since 2001. I don't know if he'd be that obnoxious about it, but
he'll be super vague. Like, it's been a while since we've seen Kevin Nash.
I can see that.
Not even 6 months. Get out of here.
Yeah. So speaking of people who essentially no-show, Shocker no-showed Unbreakable as well.
What?
Yeah. So he says the only no-show was Shocker, which is not true because Sean Wallman clearly did. Right. Who was said to have been unable to get from a TV taping in a place in Mexico I cannot pronounce for AAA to the show in time, which is sort of true. Now, the company had purchased a non-refundable plane ticket for him out of Mexico City. A few days before the show, he called and said that he was being booked the night before in I cannot pronounce this. I'm sorry. I'm going to make a fool of myself. So somewhere far away. Which is in the Yucatan Peninsula, which is nowhere near Mexico City. The company is already down on Shocker. He's got the stain of being the brainchild of Dusty Rhodes, who loved him on the TV commercial he kept seeing on ESPN. But he's been nervous in the ring and hasn't transitioned to the U.S. very well. And essentially, since this didn't end up working out, it was easier to just book Roderick Strong and change the Chris Sabin versus Shocker match to Sabin versus P.D. Williams. And on paper, it was a better match. And then put Strong in Williams' planned spot with Austin Aries. So we were going to get P.D. Williams versus Austin Aries, and they just used Roderick Strong instead, which I think was an excellent move.
Yeah, so that ends up working out. And I totally forgot. His Shocker, turned on Sabin.
Yeah, dude.
I fucking forgot about that.
So did I. I literally did too.
I was confused as to. Yeah, I was confused as to how he no-showed the show, but then there's he fucking turned on Chris Sabin. Of course, that was going to be a match. So
right.
Fantastic.
Good stuff. Let me give you this final random note about TV stuff, and then we will do a quick breakdown of Unbreakable, and then Bob, it's time to watch the match that might break us.
We thought we were unbreakable until we watched the show.
Until we watch International Incidents. Yeah. In the ever-changing TV schedule world, the first Monday night show on October 3rd has been changed back to its regular time slot. The Ultimate Fighter. So this is obviously within different observer notes here. The Ultimate Fighter night replay is now scheduled for the 1 to 3 a.m. That night, with a second airing on October 6th at 9 p.m. However, Spike's same new press release listed the Ultimate Fight Night replay on October 6th at 9 p.m. And it also lists the MXC special on October 6th at 9 p.m. Now, why do we give a shit about MXC? Bob, you know MXC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's hilarious. Well, listen to this bullshit. The MXC special is based on a WWE versus TNA theme, which no doubt is going to make some people very unhappy. And he says, anyways, after being contacted, Spike noted the MXC show would be preempted for the Ultimate Fighter night replay and would be airing sometime later in October, but the programming department has not yet decided on the date.
What do you mean? What? How is it going to be based off of WWE TNA?
I don't know, but I need to go figure it out.
I need to watch that and see what they're talking about.
Yeah, which
That's weird.
it is on Amazon. I watched a bunch recently. Amazon Prime.
Right. I think at one point it was on Pluto too,
Ooh, okay.
but I can't remember.
It's good to know. I love that. That show is like me and Austin get a kick out of it, dude.
I remember in high school, even like middle school, early high school, that shit would be on Spike.
Yeah.
For late for like 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I would fucking want it. And at first I was like, I don't even know what I'm watching, but it's just these two dudes just dubbing over commentary, or group of people, whatever, dubbing over commentary.
Right.
As if it's people talking in English or whatever. It's so funny.
The thing is, like, that I like those kind of shows anyways, where it's like people trying to do like weird like game stuff, and like I like that anyways, and then they add like comedy on top of it, and it just is like it's so good.
Because it's so like is it Japanese?
Yes, it's a Japanese show.
Yeah, so like these guys, somebody will be yelling, and then like the English commentary, like what they're saying is like, my balls hurt.
Yeah,
they just run off. It's like,
dude, it fits Spike TV way too perfectly.
Oh yeah,
it's like guy humor.
100%.
And like, there's definitely some stuff that's not very PC anymore, but
correct. Yeah, it doesn't age well.
No. Okay, Bob, let's break down Unbreakable here. We watched it last week, so we will try to quickly go through it, but we'll always like to hear Dave Meltzer's ratings and all that. So, in the pre-show, which we did watch, pretty good stuff.
Yes, we did.
Surprise pre-show again. I don't know when we're going to stop being surprised by him, but here we are.
We could easily find out if we just like started the show a little bit before we started airing or playing, but we
just double check. Yeah, no, we're like, okay, let's play.
Wait. We should do that for Bound for Glory, because if there is a pre-show, that's a 4-hour fucking show.
Yeah, we probably should, because I'd be fine doing the matches, but if there's like a lot of just talking, don't really know if we need to do that.
Yeah,
but we'll figure that out. We got a couple weeks. So Jarrell Clark went to a no contest with Cassidy Riley in 1 minute 56 seconds after Monty Brown ran in as they were just getting started. He clotheslined Clark. Riley came in while Brown was starting a promo. Brown gave him the pounce, period, as Dave rates it. Brown then challenged the winner of Raven vs. Rhino at Bound for Glory. Jarrett came out and said he couldn't believe that Brown would do such a thing. He said Brown owed him his career. He owed his career to him. So Jarrett takes a lot of credit there. Jarrett vowed that when the company gets on Spike TV, that he would be the world champion. The two argued, and Kip James came as the peacemaker. Jeff Hardy came out and went after Jarrett, and there was a big brawl and stuff like that. So it was a pretty eventful pre-show. Actually, this pre-show at Unbreakable felt like an episode of Impact, honestly.
Yeah.
Shark Boy pinned Mikey Batts in 3 minutes, 20 seconds. This was a fast-paced indie-level match. He won with the Dead Sea Drop. And that he does not rate either one of those. Okay, starting on the main show. Conan and Ron Killings and BG James, all Three Life Crew, defeated the Diamonds in the Rough, Simon Diamond, Alex Skipper, David Young, in 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Conan apologized to BG for doubting him quickly, probably the weakest match on the show, but they had the crowd more than all but a few bouts. That sounds really weird the way that's written. Killings was in a bad car wreck during the week, apparently, and his back was messed up. So that's a pretty interesting note on top of this. It was surprising that he could do even the little that he did. Conan pinned Young after doing the X Factor, which I think he calls the Face Jam. And the match was booked to go actually a few minutes longer than it did. He gives this one star. And Bob, after this, I'm just going to go through this so I don't ruin the flow here, but remind me to do our thumbs up in the middle, just so we got that down as well. I'll do that at the end.
Yeah.
I have it literally right up next to it. But Austin Aries pinned Roderick Strong in 8 minutes. This was about as good of a match as you could have in the time frame. Strong did several different cool backbreaker variations. Of course, we know him as the Messiah of the backbreaker. It was acknowledged in the pregame show and in commentary that Aries and Strong are usually tag partners in Ring of Honor, and fans knew as there was chance of Generation Next and ROH, so people were aware of who they were. After Strong did some cool moves and a "Please Sign Roderick" chant started, Aries won with a brainbuster and a 450 splash. He gives this one 3.5 stars.
Yeah, that was a very good match.
Yeah, it was great. I really like Roderick Strong, and I think I like him more than I thought I did after watching lots of Roderick Strong. Anyway,
I've always liked Roddy.
I feel like for a while I didn't really like care that much, and then like the more I watch it, I'm like, no, I really like this guy.
Yeah.
So big Roddy fan. Even his shitty little boots. So Kip James and Monty Brown defeated Apollo and Lance Hoyt in 9 minutes 58 seconds. Sonny Siaki came out in a neck brace. The storyline was that James and Brown injured him, so Apollo got Hoyt to be his partner. In a pre-match preview before the match, they teased that James and Brown having dissension because James was loyal to Jarrett, and he was mad that Brown would talk back to Jarrett. That was during a backstage interview, I believe. Hoyt looked bad when he didn't have people who were good enough to cover for him. I kind of disagree. I think Hoyt looks fine, but whatever. The crowd live loves him for reasons that wouldn't play nationally because he likes to party with them after the show. I love that he mentions it every single time, so I got to say it too. Apollo has some good timing and is very agile for a big guy, but has no charisma. Hoyt did a nice moonsault on James. The finish saw Brown pin Apollo after the pounce. He always writes it as the pounce period for 1 1/4 stars. Chris Sabin pins Petey Williams in 12 minutes 34 seconds. It was fast paced. The match was good, but I expected better. Williams was gassing at the end. Sabin then picked up referee Mark Johnson for a crable shock here in this match. Put him down when he realized it was the ref. He felt the shirt. Williams took advantage of it and had Sabin set up for the Canadian Destroyer, but Sabin reversed it into the cradle shock for the pin. A lot of the crowd booed, even though Sabin was popular the entire match because they wanted to see the Canadian Destroyer. Matt Bentley hit the ring, super kicked Sabin, and he did one of those Russo-style promos where he said everyone expected him to go up north, but he was staying in TNA. If you want to say it, just say it. He was back for the Ultimate X. Bentley super kicked Williams for good measure, and that was 3 stars. He gives that one. Abyss then pinned Sabu in 11 minutes 30 seconds in a no DQ match that was added, I think, during the pre-show or something. Abyss used a torture rack drop for a near fall, went out to grab the bag of thumbtacks, spread all over the ring. Sabu made a quick comeback, but as he went for the triple jump spot, Abyss caught him midair, delivered the black hole slam into the thumbtacks for the pin. Sabu had tons of thumbtacks sticking to his back, while Abyss had a few in his hand when this was over. The match worked with the crowd, but Dave says that he hates when the thumbtacks are becoming cliche to the point where you feel obligated to do them on every show. 2 3/4 stars. Abyss does
I'm not disagreeing with these star ratings so far.
They're pretty. I mean, that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode pins Jeff Hardy in 9 minutes 7 seconds. Roode did a good job of carrying things here, as Hardy just didn't seem that interested. Eventually in the match here, Jeff Jarrett came out and hit Hardy with a hockey stick twice. The first shot looked weak, so Jarrett broke the stick over Hardy's back on the second shot. Hardy fell into the ring and Roode pinned him. 2 stars.
Didn't look good, so let me just fucking break it over your back.
I mean, he did do that.
Yeah.
Andy Douglas and Chase Stevens retained the NWA Tag Team titles over Chris Harris and James Storm, Alex Shelley and Nobody, and Eric Young and A1 of the Team Canada in 18 minutes and 1 second of an elimination match. Some fans were carrying A1 steak sauce to taunt A1 during the match, which I thought was funny. Johnny Candido, who was sitting ringside with his father and Chris Candido's friend, eventually jumped the guardrail and tagged in. So Alex Shelley did have a partner, technically. Mm-hmm. You would think that would have popped the crowd, but it didn't. America's Most Wanted and Team Canada bumped for Candido's clotheslines in the comeback. Eventually, Young nailed Candido with a low blow and pinned him with a small package. He maybe got 45 seconds in before getting pinned at the 5-minute, 25-second mark. America's Most Wanted were acting like heels in the first fall, but started working as faces in the second. Interesting. The Naturals did their double team natural disaster on A1 for the pin. He gives us 3 stars. In the NWA title match, Raven pinned Rhino 14 minutes, 28 seconds to retain in the Ravens Rules match. The match went too long, Dave says, and the crowd peaked early and was numbed by overuse of weapons. Among weapons used in this match, we used a crutch, a chair, nunchucks, a pizza cutter, a staple gun, garbage cans, a ladder, and more. I think the ladder was probably used the best. They literally put them through it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Rhino juiced early after the pizza cutter to the head. They chanted, "We want pizza." Eventually, during this, Jarrett ran in with an apparent belt shot, but Hardy grabbed the belt from him instead. Raven then finished Jarrett and then DDT'd Rhino with the Raven effect to score the win. And he kind of forgot to rate this one. I don't got a rating. I didn't check on. Sometimes Cage Match lists these as well, so I can check quick. But let's see. It's literally not rated on there either, so he literally just did not rate it. Apparently.
Maybe he didn't like it.
He rates dud if he. I feel like he do duds too. I don't know.
He does negatives.
Right. So
he'll do a dud for sure.
I think he might have just forgotten.
He probably did.
I
would say he was probably 2.5.
That's fair.
2.25.
Especially compared to what else we got here. I agree.
Yeah.
And the one that everyone was waiting for, the main event. AJ Styles won the three-way over Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe in 22 minutes 50 seconds to take the X Division title from Daniels. Just an incredible match. The idea that going on Spike, they needed to have an X-champion that represented the style. At one point, the story was out that Joe was going to be winning, but the feeling was that he'll take a few weeks for the Spike fans to get used to him, as he hardly makes sense as a small guy who is 280, at least until everyone sees him win a few matches in the division. I think it's fair. I think it's a fair way to put it. I think Joe's good, but might as well put Styles on it, I guess. Daniels is fine, though, isn't he? Like, that's like weird. You would have just kept it on him almost, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
I
like all these guys.
I do too, but this whole the Spike audience getting used to him. What are they thinking is like? I don't understand.
I don't know.
I'm so confused by it. Is it though?
No, it's not.
Yeah, like if you're watching the show, chances are about TNA, especially if it's on a Saturday at 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
You have to already know that it'd be different if it was on at like 8, and then you're going to get people that maybe don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So during this match here, Styles did this springboard shooting star press onto both Daniels and Joe on the floor. It's arguably one of the most famous spots from the match. I think they show that quite often. Styles and Daniels traded punches later in the match before Daniels set up the Angels wings. As Dave rates it as Angels swings.
Wow.
I don't know. Styles reversed it into a backflip into the pin and the surprise 3 count. There was a loud match of the year chant at the finish. Best match in TNA history, and that's saying a mouthful after the matches this year. And this is, of course, voted on as the first ever 5-star match in TNA. So pretty
Is
good.
it the only one?
I think we were kind of looking this up, and it might be the only one.
I think it's the only one in TNA.
Which is saying a lot, but I gotta say, you could argue there's others that are very good.
Yeah.
To be controversial statement coming up. Was it Joe and Styles? That was the last pay-per-view? Is that what it was?
The X Cup one?
Yeah, was that the last?
Yeah.
I fucking loved that match.
That is a very good match.
And Joe had that match with Sabin recently, and it was also so fucking good. Not as long and not as big of scale, so I get how that can kind of play into some of this stuff. But and finally, to wrap us up here, before I do forget again, Bob and I gave this a thumbs up. Bob, what do you think the readers said?
Has to be thumbs up.
Yeah, 98.3% thumbs up.
Wow. Is that like one person saying, or like 2 people saying no?
So yeah, I'll break it down to the numbers because it's not embarrassing. So 0.8% gave it a thumbs down. 0.8% were in the middle. So let's break down the numbers for you.
What the fuck?
118 people voted thumbs up.
Wow.
1 down, 1 in the middle.
That's who does down? Like you can't do down.
What was down of that show? Some of the undercard you were probably bored with, but like, come on. Overall, it still wasn't even that bad.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's no way. There's just no way.
And I wonder what match got voted on as the best match.
Yeah, give me a break.
Styles, Daniels, and Joe. Of course, no other match got a single vote. He even writes that.
Nor should they, really.
Yeah. And I think it's kind of obvious, so I'll just tell you because we literally just read it. 3 Live Crew versus the Diamonds in the Rough, or as Dave calls it, the Diamond Exchange, was voted on as the worst match. And in order, there was other ones. Kip James and Monty Brown versus Hoyt and Apollo was second. Raven versus Rhino was third, and Jeff Hardy versus Bobby Roode was also in there as fourth. So there was some other ones that were written. And Bob, that finally wraps up our notes for the show. It feels like a lot because we did them all before we watched, but now it's time to watch the main event of International Incident.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh boy, Bob's feeling it already.
As I let out a yawn. All right. We are going to be watching now the main event of Border City Wrestling's International Incident. NWA World Champion Raven defending against Jeff Jarrett. Now, I'm sure we're going to get some kind of explanation, whether it be the notes or on the eventual television, because obviously as TNA fans, we are not, aware of Jeff Jarrett being a number one contender in any capacity.
Right.
So him getting a shot here in Canada is a bit confusing, but we're going to figure this out. Now, if you want to watch along, let's say you have this in your own personal collection, you're going to want to fast forward to the 2-hour, 16-minute, and 33-second mark, because that is where we are going to start. Now, if you are like me, that means that there's 26 minutes and 51 seconds left in the show. Now, there's no way that this match is going to be 26 minutes. What?
I was going to make a mention really quick.
Go ahead.
If you type in Raven versus Jeff Jarrett International Incident on the Google, you can watch this match on Daily Motion.
Wow.
So we will now. I'll check as Bob's finishing his last statement here to confirm where it starts, and I will try to cue us up because I do believe what we're about to see. There is going to be a brief promo.
I was going to say I'm sure that someone's going to be talking for several minutes.
Yes. So yes. But it does look like you can Google it if you are interested in actually watching along.
Okay. Well, that's good then. I'm going to count down from 3. And when I say play, that is when we are going to hit that good old-fashioned play button and begin to watch Jarrett and Raven. I believe that this is their second singles match against each other in our podcast. The first one being back on April 30th, 2003. And I don't believe they had another singles match since then against each other.
Wow.
So here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go, dude. World title, Jarrett versus Raven. And you hear that, it's hard. The quality is not the best because it's a shitty indie show, but that's Mike Tenay in the ring right now.
Yeah, he's a special ring announcer.
Raven's rules. This shouldn't be official. That's not a TNA referee. That means there are no rules.
Falls count anywhere in the building, but you know damn well that pin's going to happen in the ring.
Yeah, of course. 1 fall to the finish. It's for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and here comes Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, so Mike Today's our announcer. That's kind of fun.
I can't wait for Jarrett just to get in his face. And then today make that usual Tenay face.
Yeah, right. I was just trying to look up to see if I could figure out how many people are in the crowd. I'll keep trying to look, but that's becoming a little bit harder than I expected. It looks like...
What are you trying to do?
I want to get a crowd number for us.
Oh.
Here's Jeff Jarrett. And I'm assuming that person that's standing in front of our camera view is a TNA camera guy. And
I
I have a
would
feeling
think so.
he's getting footage for the Spike TV debut. That's my guess.
Yeah.
International incident. Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, I'm not having much luck here trying to figure this out, but I'm trying.
Is my world. Yeah, get that microphone, Jarrett.
And I'll just tell you now, too, if you happen to get that Daily Motion video, that one doesn't even start until Raven's in the ring, so we have a minute before you can
really?
start. Yeah. J.E. double off. He doesn't do that gimmick in TNA.
No, he doesn't.
But this is an indie show, so he's got to pop the fans a little
He's
bit.
got to hit the classics. Listen here, slap nuts.
He's not here to kiss babies. He came to this godforsaken country for one reason. I like the yellow on Jarrett, by the way. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, it's good.
Because if I'm going to boo someone, it's someone who's wearing yellow and silver.
Yeah.
Canada's always been one step behind the United States. And he's yelling at Tenay, of course, because that's part of his gimmick.
I don't know if that's true. That Canada's always been one step.
No, I consider moving to Canada quite often, to be honest with
they're
you.
pretty much ahead of us on a few things.
Yeah, I'm going to move there. I'm going to look good at Raven when he walks down the aisle. Another TNA person that we didn't talk about being on the show is Tracy, actually wrestles. Tracy Brooks.
Oh.
And someone who eventually is Johnny Bravo's on the show too, who ends up being a referee and then a manager. But Joe Doring is here. Jimmy Jacobs.
Oh, they're on the show? They're wrestling.
Yep.
Jimmy Jacobs.
I feel like I don't know. We can talk about the card if we want to, but I feel like Bob's going to probably mention it also in our indie. It's coming up here in the next few weeks. So
yeah, I'm sure I would.
Okay, Raven's coming out. And there's our freaking guy getting in my way again. Trying to get a nice picture for our social page, and this is what I get. Oh, Raven's got a microphone too? Oh boy. Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Does this place not look like if the Legion in Binghamton was slightly larger?
Yeah.
Okay, so the match on the video doesn't even start until he puts the mic down.
Oh, look at that. Dallas getting his fucking personal service for food. Sickening. I don't know how you got her wrapped around your finger like that.
Yeah, you want to see what I got?
Oh, God. What the hell?
Breakfast, baby.
Jesus. It's 11.
I know. I didn't have time to do it before I got on here.
This is basically lunch.
She's just the best. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Put the Raven, nevermore.
She's just the best.
Okay, the video on Daily Motion starts now.
Do it! Raven's ready, man. He's laid the belt down. He's fixing his elbow pads. And now he's just standing there.
I don't know if I'm ready for this match, Bob.
I don't know if I am either.
I mean, this is a huge main event to see it like an indie show.
I would say, yeah.
This whole show, dude, if we were TNA fans and we saw that this was coming remotely close to us, we'd easily be going to this.
Yeah.
This is not about strutting tonight, fans. I kind of wish they had Mike Tenay as like a special guest commentator too while he's there, but
That's
at least for this.
That's a really interesting thing, yeah. He probably should have been. See, Dallas, I feel like it's dangerous to eat during this match because I don't want you to choke.
I know. That's a really great point. Wait, Raven wants to talk again? Is that what they're saying? Jarrett's on the mic again? You guys in Canada don't even know who to cheer for. Second class country. See, Jarrett's like the annoying ex-girlfriend who like needs to get their last word in.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you stop? I'd be like, can't we get moving on with this? And she's like, but I got one more thing to say. It's like, you don't have to, though. You don't have to do that. Okay, get to the match, Jarrett.
Yeah, let's go.
The bell already rung.
But it's Raven rules, so he can't even get counted out.
That's a really good point. Raven's talking now, too. Which one is the annoying ex-girlfriend now? He goes, you couldn't be somewhere cool, but like Nashville or... And he's like, nah, he's from Henderson. Hendersonville? Where is it?
Hendersonville, yeah.
Raven says he might need the mic later, so to hold on to it. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, now the bell rings. So
The bell sounds.
Bob, have you been to Hendersonville yet?
No.
I just went. I went last year, actually.
Did you see Jeff Jarrett?
No, I didn't actually go. I'm just joking.
Oh. I don't know what you do.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. I didn't even know that you got engaged until you put it on Facebook.
Yeah, okay. Raven fought so hard to win this. Raven has really held down the fort here during our internet days.
Yeah.
He won it at Slammiversary. I'd say he had a pretty decent run here. And now
I'm starting to wonder if they put the title on him because they knew that not a lot of people would be watching. So, hey, let's just put it on Raven.
That's so fucked up if it's true. Jarrett couldn't be a champion while no one was watching.
Right. After all, he's a star.
Yep.
Everybody knows Jeff Jarrett.
And Kevin Nash.
And Kevin Nash.
This is hardcore, dude. They just keep locking up. Headlock off the ropes. Shoulder block. This is the most Ravens rules I've ever seen a Ravens rules match, dude.
Well, I'll tell you, anytime that there's this type of stipulation and they start off with headlocks and shoulder blocks and hammer locks, as he literally does a top wrist lock, this is my favorite type. You know?
I don't want to see trash cans and thumbtacks.
No.
Staple guns, pizza cutters. I don't want to see that.
I don't want to see them brawling in the crowd. What are you talking about?
No way.
Give me that good old Raven mat wrestling. My absolute favorite. He's a technician.
He really is, especially when he's wearing the jean shorts like he is tonight.
Yep.
And we know Jarrett is definitely a tactician. Jarrett is a 3-time winner of the Brian Danielson Award in the Observer.
See, I hate when they do this shit just because it's like, you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it because I don't want it.
Speaking of the Brian Danielson Award, I don't know if you saw the news. We're taping this early September, just for spoilers here. But they just announced Zach Springate. No, hold on. Zack Sabre Jr. Jesus, I always do that. Thinking my 2CW brain. Zack Sabre Jr. against Brian Danielson. at Wrestle Dream, and I saw someone on Twitter go, 7-time Bryan Danielson a winner faces 11-time Bryan Danielson award winner. Because he has like a technical award in the Observer named after him.
Oh, he does?
Yeah. That's like a real award.
Oh, wow. I saw that, like he said, Danielson said it's going to be his last year.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, I don't like that. Not if Tony keeps throwing him the money.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Raven has the ring bell. Oh, he's ringing it. Oh, shit. He hits Jarrett in the head with the ring bell.
Right in front of Mike Tenay.
So Mike Tenay is there. He's just not on commentary.
Right. He's just holding the guitar, which is probably not a good sign. And then just sitting by the timekeeper, I guess. Is Jarrett bleeding after that?
He's got to be, dude.
Oh, Borash is there too.
Yeah. Also, big news. TNA news. Mike Tenay and Don West are going into the Impact Hall of Fame at Bound for Glory this year. Well deserved. Should have been earlier, but well deserved. Okay, the table that Raven just got is already broken. The leg is like snapped off. Is Jarrett bleeding? I don't think he is. Oh my God, we're in the crowd.
No way. In a Jeff Jarrett match?
Hey, you were just saying you want this.
Yeah, I know, but I can't believe that I'm seeing it.
I would have never guessed, to be honest. Going to the concession stand.
Oh, no. Better go get your pretzel.
Shades of the concession stand brawl, dude.
Uncensored 95.
Put his head in the cotton candy machine. You get 10 points. Remember the Dup Cup?
Dep Cup. Yeah.
They're training EC Dub.
Yeah, of course they are.
He's training BC Dub, but that's not what they were training.
No, absolutely not. Jarrett is not busted open from getting hit with a ring bell.
It's probably because it's an indie show.
Yeah, you might be right. Raven just kicked him out of a seat.
Holy shit. Referee Jeffrey Scott. That's who our referee is.
He just jabbed him throat first onto the chair.
Yes, they have padded seats, but there's no padding on that steel frame.
No.
Because the chair he kicked him out of is not a folding chair.
No.
It's like if you were going to go to a conference center and it's like just a fucking seat with a cushion on it. Okay, Raven throws Jarrett into the ring. In case you guys are following along and you are on the DVD version, we have 11 minutes and 48 seconds left. Oh my God, a low blow. I can't believe he would do that.
A nut shot. What kind of monster?
You cannot count the King of the Mountain out at all. He's choking Raven on the middle rope, bounces off, slides out. Boom. Little right hand. Didn't expect that. Apparently he kicked the camera in ringside. Oh, here we go. The middle rope leg thing.
Do the strut.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, that middle rope splash is your favorite move. I forgot about it. No, he didn't do the fucking double J strut.
I like it when he gets ready and he's like, and then he just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
Slides out again.
Oh.
Another right hand. Whoa, Raven really sold that one. He literally bounced across the ring.
That was a big time sell. Now, Raven is laid out with his shirt exposing his belly. This is basically how I look when I'm laying on my couch. My belly just plops out of my shirt. So I feel very relatable.
Jeff Jarrett has a guitar.
Is that a fan's guitar?
I think that is a Fane's guitar because it's spray paint on the back. Don't piss me off.
Yeah, now they just got it back. So. Does Raven have a tattoo under his belly?
Yeah, it goes all the way down his chest. We've seen it.
What?
It's like the big thing that goes across his chest and like down his pant line.
Well, I guess it's been a while since I've seen it because he's always wearing a shirt then.
Which I'd like to remind everyone, he does not need to at this point. He's just doing it for the look for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh, miscue, but it was for a fucking sleeper. Oh, low blow. Wow.
A kick to the nuts.
What a kick. One. I wonder if this. Do you think this show might be on Impact Plus?
I feel like it wouldn't be.
Where can we watch BCW wrestling?
Probably can't. I don't know. They want tables. Raven with a whole bunch of jabs. Discus clothesline.
Throw him in the corner, bounces off, and of course Raven comes back, clothesline.
Knee lift. Boom. Yeah.
Let's go!
Raven's fired up.
Rose whip into the corner.
Splash.
The knee.
Hold
And a
on.
bulldog out of the corner.
Get him, Raven. Oh, he doesn't go for the cover. Now he's going to the table that is Dallas's note already broken. So he just lays it.
He puts the broken side up first, but hey, Bob, if you're curious, Border City Wrestling here is celebrating their 30th anniversary on October 7th, 2023, and Kurt Angle's going to be there in Windsor, Ontario.
Oh,
the stroke.
Yeah, Raven countered, or Jarrett countered the even blow, going for the stroke, but now he's got a sleeper.
Wow, didn't see that one coming.
I got him. Oh, Raven might be sleeping.
Raven is our champion. Is passing out here, dude. Raven.
2. Will he drop a third and final time? No. Oh, that was pretty close.
Yeah, it was.
That might have dropped. Even elbow.
Yeah, blah.
Jarrett gets right back to that sleeper. Oh, ref bump in the corner as Raven tried to back his way out of it.
Oh my God, through the table.
And he backs him through the table.
What are they chanting? It sounds like they're chanting.
Sabu.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard too. Okay, I was trying to check if they have this on Impact Plus. You can watch Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, Alpha 1, Smash, and how do you say this one? Lariato Pro, but no BCW.
No BCW. Okay. No.
I tried.
That surprises me, especially since it's a
Just
Scott
D'Amore. That's why that's why I had to check.
Yeah.
Even on their website, it doesn't show where you can like watch anything. So
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, my Siri's talking to me now. It also wants to know where you can watch BCW's International Incident from September 15th, 2005.
Yeah. That's crucial information we need to know.
Wait, Jarrett does have a guitar.
Oh, see, he probably got it from TNA. TNA did have a guitar over there.
And
No.
Raven
Oh.
ducks. Oh, Raven grabs the guitar. Nope. A jawbreaker by Raven.
Wait, now he's got it. Raven's got the guitar. And he
Shit.
smashes Jarrett over the head with it. And even flow. Ah, that's James Storm. James Storm
Bob.
just super kicked Raven. Chris Harris is here.
Oh my God.
Death sentence. They just hit the death sentence on Raven.
What the fuck?
Dallas, what the
And they just threw Jarrett on top of Raven after the death sentence in the super kick. 3.
Raven tried to put his arm up. So what the fuck, dude? There's the heel turn for AMW?
Whoa.
Like that's got to be an official, like, hey, we're fucking douchebags now.
Wow. Okay. Guys, we got a new NWA World Champion just a few weeks before the Spike TV debut, and America's Most Wanted have seemingly joined forces with Jeff Jarrett. Did not see that one coming.
Here's the thing now. You can't possibly ignore that.
No.
For TV.
Whoa.
That is a interesting way to have AMW.
Wait.
Switch
Jarrett
on.
just called them to beat up Raven more, so now they're stomping him. The crowd's stunned.
Wow.
They're booing him. Wow, dude. This is the 4th title reign, NWA title reign for Jeff Jarrett.
It's nauseating.
Well, he did say on Unbreakable he was going to be champion before Spike.
Yeah, and he's a man of his freaking word.
It's kind of gross in hindsight when he says that, and you're like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Jarrett's bleeding from the guitar shot, I think, like on the side of his head.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm sure that there's no that now a lot of people knew about this title match.
No.
Right before Spike debut. There's no way.
Dude, this AMW turn is like wild. There it is. AMW holding up their arms with Jeff Jarrett, guy in the crowd right there, giving him the middle finger.
I can't say that we should be surprised by it.
The AMW thing is like the bigger shock here than anything.
Yeah. My world.
Everyone, thank you on behalf of Border City Wrestling and TNA. Drive safely on your way home. Classic indie show.
TNA is such a nice guy. As Raven's like hurting in the corner. Hey,
Check
everybody, thanks. Go get a shirt.
Check out the merchandise table in the back.
Raven's like, I just lost the title. Yay. But go make sure you go get a DVD.
Crowd's chanting for Raven as he gets to his feet. So Team America did win the whole tournament, it sounds like.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Canada couldn't even win their own tournament in their own country? Jeez.
I guess not. Well, they're giving us the whole card now. Well, what did you think of Raven's title run, Bob? It was completely on the internet. Lost at an indie show in Canada.
Yep.
Started on their biggest pay-per-view of the year so far, Slammiversary.
I would say overall it's probably pretty disappointing.
I mean, yeah, if you look hindsight, it's like no one really got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And like it felt like, I mean, I think it was like fine, but like it definitely could have been better. Like they didn't let him get big matches that he should have. Before it was like Jarrett's gonna fight DDP, he's got to fight Kevin Nash, and we couldn't even get like a Raven against Jeff Jarrett. You couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
To like let him have a solid victory.
Yeah. It was basically just like Raven doing ECW matches.
Yes. Yes.
Sure, it was like Abyss, but then it was teaming with Sabu and then against Rhino. There wasn't really much
Jimmy
What is
Jacobs Muppet picture of courtesy of Amy King.
Okay. I don't know what that's about.
Okay.
But yeah, okay, that wraps up that. I'm going to say that match was not great,
No, it was not.
but it was important to watch
Yes.
because of, the implications it has for the Spike TV debut.
Oh yeah, dude. We didn't have a choice but to watch this one. I think even if we knew it was gonna suck going into it, which I couldn't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I couldn't.
We had to watch. It is directly affects what we were gonna be watching in just 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is I'm curious how much we're gonna show on TV. We got to explain it in some degree, so should be interesting to see.
Yeah, and then also, knowing that now knowing that the AMW turn
I mean, that's like
as well.
almost more shocking and like bigger to me. Like that part's really crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we did it. Check it out on Daily Motion, or if you have it, if you want to watch along with us. I'm curious how the rest of the show is, but it sounds good on paper.
Well, you can watch it on your own time.
You watch it on your own time, and that's what I'm going to do maybe one day. Okay, Bob, do you want to let our listeners know what we got going on next week?
Okay, so next week is another week where we don't have Impact, so we have to watch a different match. That's right, folks. A match, not a show, but a match. And I'm going to look it up real quick to make sure that I'm giving the proper date and stuff. Yes, okay, here we go. So we are traveling back in time, not too far. We're going back to July 29th, 2005 for International Wrestling Cartel's No Excuses. We're on that show. And again, it's another main event match. Matt Hardy, who at this point, or that point, was back in the WWE, but still had a few indie shots. He had jilted TNA at the altar, so to speak. Decided not to come in. But he did wrestle a TNA wrestler at this show, International Wrestling Cartels, No Excuses. And it was AJ Styles.
Mm-hmm.
And it is regarded by Meltzer as being a really good match. I've seen the match. I've reviewed it for us in recaps, and I gave it a pretty good star rating. Now, it's been a long while since I've seen it, so I couldn't tell you what goes on in it.
Excellent.
But that's going to be the next match that we watch before the era of Spike TV begins.
Yep. And as we did today, I think it will not be as long because the Unbreakable stuff isn't included, but we will do notes before, and we got something to chat about there, and then we'll watch the match, and I think it's going to be a pretty good time. And then the guys were at Spike, so we already know it's going to be good after that. So
yeah, pretty much. All right, we will see you guys next week for AJ Styles and Matt Hardy at the International Wrestling Cartel. But until then, for Dallas Gridley, I am Bob Colling Jr., and this has been the TNA Cross the Line podcast.